Yes, better late than ever. A little temporary problem. We're back, though, and it's Weber this week, day after Easter 2015. We welcome you to our studios here in downtown, beautiful Seneca Falls, and it's great to be with you on a Monday morning, April the 6th, 2015. And I know you'll join me and Jim Centercrope. We'll talk about his trip to Disney World in a minute. He just came back from Florida. I know this weather, is getting on our nerves. Some of us are thinking about jumping off a bridge. My problem is I would jump off a bridge and there wouldn't be any water. I'd be dead on arrival. But yesterday, as you prepare to dress up, take a shower, clean up, go out to dinner with your loved ones, your family, go visit your family, you look outside and what is it doing? Snowing. And, you can't wear the Easter bonnet very nicely. But it was fun. We went over to Canandaigua, had dinner up there with my brother and his wife, Susan, along with Mary. We had a good time, and we hope that you all had a good time on your Easter. And I looked at some pictures, and I was cracking up. Some of the people were dressed up, going out to dinner, and they looked like they were bundled up like they were going to visit the Iditarod in Alaska. But it's good to be with you. Lots to talk about this morning. Myself and Jimmy will mull over and discuss many topics. And Dave Barnick, our good friend out in south end of the county, who I had the pleasure and the smartness to hire him back in the 70s to help me do sports on WSFW radio. Some of you oldies but goodies may remember those days. And Dave's mom just passed away a few days ago. And I had a chance to meet her once or twice, I believe. Great lady. And our sympathies from all of us here at FingerLakes1.com send out Jimmy to Dave and his family. Yep. And we certainly grieve in his loss.
Yeah, it's... Dave's a great guy,
yes.
And obviously it's tough to lose your mom, and
sure.
Certainly we're, hoping that, he's also recovering from some back surgery,
yeah.
So we're hoping things get going, and when the weather breaks, hopefully he can get on the golf course. And
yep. He's a gamer.
Yeah,
so
no doubt.
We send our sympathies out to David Barnick and his family for the loss of Dave's mom. Jimmy, you just came back from Florida, a little Disney World extravaganza, and you told me there was, 3 or 4 kids you ran across in the week you were there?
Yeah, that place is amazing,
yeah,
Disney World. I mean, it's a wonder of the world,
yep.
Kind of the way that they put it all together with all those people and all the movement of people and the food and the staffing, and it's just unbelievable, and it's also exhausting place to go for a vacation, but kids had fun, and we had fun. The weather was good, but glad to be home.
I know, it's always good to go away, it's always good to come back.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, tell you a quick story in Disney World. I told Jimmy before we went on air this morning, years ago, we went down, took Samantha, I think she was 9 or 10, something like that. That goes way back, as you know, but Mary's not a girl. My wife of 49 years, coming up May 7th, will be married 49 big ones. She doesn't ride rides per se. She doesn't get into that. And I'll do the soft rides. I don't like the speed and the curves and all that stuff. But my daughter, Sam, she was small. She says, Dad, I want to go on this roller coaster. And it didn't look like it was a real huge one. And I analyzed it quickly, Jim. And so we walked up, got in line, and boy, you talk about lines. I must have been too cheap to buy the Fast Pass because it seemed like I waited 40 minutes to get on the ride. And you left this dark building, I remember that, and you go out into the sunlight, and they take you around these curves. I screamed like a 6-month-old baby all the way down. My wife was cracking up. She looked up and saw and heard this maniac screaming bloody murder. And that was me, and I'm proud to say it. My daughter Sam was cracking up because she's a speedster. She loves all that stuff. And what's the matter, Dad? I said, I can't take this. Just get me off this. I got off the ride, Jim. One and done. I wobbled to see Mary. Actually wobbled like I had been hungover. And that was it for me. And we got Sam to go by herself on the rest of the rides. Oh, but hey, it's a great place. And I know that millions of people visited, and glad you guys had a good time. Well, this morning we're going to talk about a lot. Tonight, of course, the NCAA basketball finals in Indianapolis certainly will commence the finale. Will it be Wisconsin or will it be Duke? Jimmy, I told you on one of my shows a few weeks ago, I thought Kentucky would run the table. I was wrong, as usual. Wisconsin showed a lot of grit And you were pulling for Wisconsin tonight because you're not a big fan of the Duke Blue Devils.
No, and it's strange they're in the same conference as them, so you normally would root for somebody in the same conference. I just can't do it. I like this Wisconsin team too.
Yep.
Bo Ryan
Yep.
paid his dues, and they're just a good team. It's kind of the opposite of Duke and Kentucky. They got some 4-year players.
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky and Duke have a lot of 1- and 2-year players, so you'd like to see the 4-year players win out for the sake of college basketball. But Duke also has some seniors. Quinn Cook's a good example of a guy who's been there and has gotten better every year. But for the most part, it's guys like Okafor and Winslow, guys that aren't going to be there for more than Okafor will be there 1 year, Winslow maybe 2. Right. But it should be a good game, but I'm pulling for Wisconsin. But I'm really pulling for the thing just to get over with so we can get Syracuse back.
There you go. And by the way, it is amazing. Sal and Jimmy, I'm not a big fan of women's college basketball, even though I admire their talents. I, however, have been stuck on Connecticut, and I know they're a phenomenal franchise, and that's what they are, literally a franchise. Brianna Stewart out of Syracuse, New York, phenomenal player. Maryland hung with them for a while last night. I turned it off when it was 18-point differential. Connecticut was up by 18. I have no clue what the final was. But I got to tell you something, folks. They should be banned from college basketball. That women's team from Connecticut, they're just so good. I mean, I raved about Connecticut men's, not Connecticut men's, Kentucky. But this Connecticut women's team is just, Jimmy, out of sight, out of mind. Brianna Stewart has an amazing mark that could achieve. She's been there 2 years. This is her 3rd year. They won the national championship her first 2 years. She was most valuable player in year 1 and year 2. She's got a shot at winning the championship, and I like her chance against Notre Dame tomorrow night. And Brianna Stewart might win it again. I mean, you talk about, Jim, something that's amazing. A woman that's potentially could win 3 national championships, freshman, sophomore, junior year, and possibly win 3 MVPs in a row. That's pretty staggering.
Yeah, and she could have gone to Syracuse and helped the women's program at Syracuse, but she went to Connecticut. So it's hard to blame her because you're going to Connecticut to a place where you're going to be in the Final Four and probably win multiple national championships.
Amazing.
But if she stayed at Syracuse girls teams was in the tournament. They won the first round, lost second.
Could have made a big difference in that program with her talent.
Oh, it would have made all the difference. She's the best player in the country.
By the way, she's been playing basketball. I believe they said starting in the 8th grade, she has won 92% of her games.
Not bad.
So she's an outstanding talent. Brianna Stewart, Connecticut. Check that out tomorrow night. They take on Notre Dame. Big favorite. We'll see what happens. The Irish need a miracle, need touchdown Jesus, I guess, to touch their heads. Hey, by the way, speaking of things happening this week, the Masters, this is a big week if you follow golf. Like Jimmy and myself, we're golf nuts, so I look forward to the coverage on CBS and ESPN. I don't look forward to ESPN's coverage on Thursdays and Fridays because, oh, my God, you got Chris Bergerman, and these guys have no clue. But I look forward to the weekend coverage with Jim Nance and that outstanding CBS crew because it's limited commercials. But, ladies and gentlemen, I must tell you, yes, Tiger Woods is going to go down as the second or the first best player of all time. You can argue it's Jack. You can argue it's Tiger. Maybe Rory will be in the mix. But, folks, I know many of you are muting this show right now because you don't want to hear me. And that's okay. I respect that. I've been in this media business for a long time. But I got to tell you something, folks. I'm not ready for the Tiger effect because myself and Jimmy are going to start watching maybe clips of the Masters coverage starting today on Golf Channel. Yep, 1 o'clock today they start. Tee-off time isn't until Thursday morning. But we're going to hear about Tiger's granddad, grandma, aunts, uncles, his back, his foot, his leg, his hip. We're going to hear about what he has for lunch, for breakfast, for dinner. We're going to hear about his new coach, Como. We're going to hear about Tiger. I hope he misses the cut. Honest to God, I can't take 4 days of this.
He probably will.
I can't take this Tiger effect. These folks on this Golf Channel and CBS and Jim Nance, I love him as a sportscaster, but they're going to be so syrupy about Tiger Woods, it's going to gag me. So, folks, I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm going to mute Thursday morning. on my television. Mute. I can't take it. So the Tiger effect will be front and center, and if you're a big Tiger fan, God bless you, but I can't handle it. So
he's not going to win anything. He's not good.
Yep.
His short game is bad. You can't go to Augusta with a short game like he showed so far this year. I mean, he was sculling chips and duffing chips, and of course his putting is nowhere near where it was when he was dominant. And I just don't see any way that he can make that quick a turnaround and compete at Augusta. I mean, I think he's done.
We'll see what happens. Jimmy, I got to get your opinion on the 25th ranked player in the country, a kid named Thomas Bryant, who Syracuse was courting with a scholarship offered. Again, good player out of Rochester, New York, going to a prep school in Maryland. He was talking Syracuse. Syracuse was talking about this kid in their releases, and he decided now to go to Indiana. Your thoughts? Does that surprise you, or that he decided?
Well, it came out the past week or so that the Syracuse coaches hadn't really been in contact with him too much over the past couple of months. So I'm thinking that maybe we didn't necessarily want him.
Okay.
Maybe it's because once they got to know him, they didn't like him or think he'd mesh with the chemistry of the team. Maybe the McCullough leaving really took him off guard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but it seems like we didn't really want him that badly.
Okay.
So, hopefully DeJuan Coleman is healthy, and Tyler Roberson and Tyler Loudon, who's a freshman coming in, and another freshman, Diang, a big guy, hopefully, and Chinoso Aboko.
Yep.
Hopefully between those four guys, they can
Rev
fill the void left by Raheem Christmas, and we should have a fine front court, and we'll be fine.
Oh, yeah. Okay, listen, speaking of golfers, let's flash back to golf again. The Duff Man, Jason Dufner, who had a chance to meet when he was up in Rochester playing, which, by the way, he won the PGA, a couple of years ago. Nice young man, kid out of Auburn, very quiet, funny guy, got a great swing, made a lot of money on the tour. Went to Auburn University, and he met a girl from arch rival Alabama. Now, folks who follow the world of sports, hopefully close, will realize we talk about Minders and Waldo battling it out, competition, arch rival. Honey, you got nothing against Auburn, Alabama. They flat out hate each other. Now, why Jason Dufner would attach himself romantically with an Alabama girl is beyond belief. I thought it was strange when I heard about this hookup. I said to myself way back when that this wedding, this potential tie-in with those two guys, and the guy and the gal, Jason and Amanda Dufner, would never fly. They got married. Guess what? She divorces him. She tosses him to the street. This guy is multimillionaire, pro golfer, great kid, ends up marrying an Alabama girl, and she dumps him. And guess what? She was money grabbing him because now, according to the Entertainment Tonight, Amanda Dufner, who's an Alabama grad, is going to get a $2.5 million check, Jimmy, in the mail tomorrow. Look for it.
Not bad.
My point is, folks, you can't marry the arch rival school. I wonder how Seneca Falls people marry Waterloo girls or Waterloo girls marry Minders guys. It's a hard thing because it's arch rival. You could sit in a living room watching sports. I mean, who you pull for? I mean, I can't imagine Jason sitting there thinking Amanda screaming against his team when they play. I mean, it makes no sense. So, in my opinion, bad girl, Amanda Dufner, sticking it to Jason for $2.5 million. And in my terminology, she was grabbing the cash. Good for her. This is Weber This Week. When we come back after commercial break, we're going to spotlight two young people, Tyler Beach, along with Tim Brown. Stay with us. Cayuga Lake National Bank. Bill Ryan and his team for all of your banking needs. Offices in Union Springs and Aurora. A fine sponsor of this show for over 30 years. DA Liquors, Seneca Falls. Amy Padula and her great team will find that right spirit for you every time. Tell Amy the dog sent you. Steve Wadhams, Wadhams Enterprises, your employer of choice. Proud supporter of this show and local athletics. Bob and Leslie Oman, owners of the Oman Theater in Lyons, as well as the Newark Pilots, a minor league baseball team with a major league ballpark. SenecaFallsCountryClub.com, awesome 18-hole layout, offering a 12-month payment plan. Wilson Press, WPress.com, Seneca Falls. Rich Ricky, my good friend, and his team can handle all of your printing and mailing needs. Welcome back, everybody. It's a dog with you in the kennel here on a Monday day after Easter 2015. A reminder for programming purposes, a guy that I respect and I check himself out in the courtroom as he is the judge, Dennis Bender, who I've known for several years. I've been trying for the last couple of years to get him on my program. He has agreed, and he's agreed to come on next week. You know, with the judge situation, you never know what's going to happen in the criminal system. So, yes, he's expected to be here next week. Dennis Bender up close and personal here on the couch with Weber this week. We hope to have him on. We will be promoting it later in the week. We got our fingers crossed that nothing comes up relative to his schedule. And believe me, he's got a schedule. Hey, by the way, a couple of young people I want to focus in on this morning. First off, I will admit that I know his dad, David. I played David Beach some golf last year, strong-minded, hits the ball a country mile, and I pick on David because he's like me, he has no clue where it's going. But let's talk about Tyler. On Saturday, March 28th, 2015, at Sodas Bay High School, Tyler Beach, 8 years old, of Seneca Falls, New York fame, added graphite to the wheels of his Pinewood Derby car with the help of his dad, David, in hopes of placing in this year's Mohawk District Pinewood Derby. He not only placed second, he has qualified to represent the pack, his pack, at the council races on May 16th in Rochester. As a Bear Scout, Tyler is in his second year of scouting with the Seneca Waterways Council Pack 80. This year's Derby excitement begins when his Seahawks 12-man Derby car took first place at his local Pinewood Derby in early March. Good luck to Tyler, and I have a chance to, go back and forth on Facebook with the Beach family, and I am so proud of this young man. I haven't met him personally. I hope to meet him personally someday down the road, and who knows, maybe down the road we could have him come in as a special guest on the show and have him sit on the couch and talk about his love for sports. So congratulations from all of us here at Finger Lakes One and from Weber this week to young Tyler Beach, 8 years old, of Seneca Falls. And a young man, Jimmy, that we're going to promote this morning and talk about, a young man that Jimmy well knows, Timmy Brown, the legendary Brown family. Timmy will begin his golf career with Sodas Bay Heights Golf Club, an outstanding golf course in its own. Timmy, of course, a recent graduate of the Golf Academy of America in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. He completed his associate's program for golf complex operations and management. Of course, we all know Timmy is a graduate of Waterloo Central. He was a lacrosse star, and he was a 6-year starter for varsity good old baseball. This kid's for varsity golf, I apologize. 6-year starter for the varsity golf team in Waterloo. That's impressive. He also enjoys kart racing outdoors. Timmy will pursue his PAT and PGA membership soon. And from all of us again here at Finger Lakes One and the Weber Show, Timmy Brown. Jimmy, you're well known of Timmy. You know him quite well. Outstanding athlete, outstanding golfer, and we wish him well in his career path.
He hits the ball a mile, and I'm glad that after the schooling, he's able to find a job locally to kick things off. Sodas is a great place,
Yep.
and I play a lot of golf with his dad, Doug.
Sure.
And so I'm thinking maybe we'll be heading up to Sodas this year a couple times.
Oh, I bet you will,
which is good. Which they're reciprocal of the country club.
Yep.
And I love that course. It's a unique course. Robert Trent Jones,
Yep.
I believe, designed, and it's a fun course to play. A couple holes. A lot of people think there's a couple holes there that kind of ruin the course because they're kind of weird holes. But you know what? You just figure it out.
Y'all got to play them.
Yeah.
And by the way, I've been with Jimmy now at Finger Lakes One for about 4 years. I didn't think there was anything I could ever do to surprise him, but I will announce something this morning that will surprise Jimmy. Old dog, as I approach 70 in 3 weeks from now, 3 weeks from Wednesday, to be honest with you, I got a smartphone, Jim.
Nice.
I never thought I would invest in a smartphone, but I decided, folks, that it's time to get a smartphone. An old, beat-up, dumb dog with a smartphone. Jimmy, of course, is a technological giant, knows this stuff backwards and forwards, and I will be spending the next 7 hours after I leave my show this morning with Jimmy to explain to me, how do I get to Facebook? I don't know. I am playing with this phone. There's so many things to deal with. My inability to understand anything technically is my downfall. I got it from Verizon store up the street here. And by the way, I want to send out kudos because they spent a lot of time with me when I decided to upgrade to this phone.
Big Go Wireless.
Yes.
Yep.
Brandy Bajanen. Brandy is an engineering student over at good old Cayuga Community College. At Brandy, she worked with me on some of the apps and how to get to certain places. Because, folks, I'm telling you, folks, see, I'm just not the technical kind of a dog, and Jimmy knows that better than anybody. And also the young man who's at the front desk working at good old Go Wireless was a gentleman named Devin Gowan. He is the rep there. They have a bunch of people there, but he was nice enough to sign me up and go through some of the procedures. So if you thought it was impossible, as I approach 7-0, God willing, the dog with a smartphone. And my wife's cracking
Looks like you
up.
got an Android phone there.
Yep,
Good.
Android. It's Brigadier model. So
Okay.
it's waterproof.
You
So I
can
don't-
now watch any of Finger Lakes One shows live. If
Yep.
you get the Finger Lakes One app there, you can get your local news. You can
Yep.
you can get the local weather forecast. You can watch
Yep.
any of the shows on Finger Lakes One TV live.
Yep.
You can cast it to your TV.
See?
You can check out local photos on the Finger Lakes One app. Listen to podcasts.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Eh,
welcome to the future, dog.
Jim, I never thought you'd say that. The old dog with a new trick. Hey, so by the way, baseball started last night. Yeah, John Lester gets, $198 million to pitch for the Cubs as the main man, and he gets racked up. He gets rocked. Well, the Rickett family says, what a nice check they wrote. No, I'm just kidding. Lester's a player. He's a gamer. He's a pitcher. He's going to come back. They didn't look at, they had chances. The Cubs had a couple leadoff doubles, and they had guys in position, but it wasn't their night. Cubbies lose 3-0 to the Cardinals last night in the opening of Major League Baseball.
Today, opening day, free hot dogs at SMS.
Wow.
Yeah.
Free hot dogs?
They do free hot dogs every opening day at the SMS in
When are
Seneca
we going
Falls.
over, Jim? Is it free? You
About
that?
lunchtime,
All
yeah.
right, I mean HF, you know the F stands for free, right? So, okay.
What about the Yankees this year?
You know, I don't know. A-Rod's trying to make good with the team. He's doing he had a pretty
He's
good
gonna be a
spring training.
DH, I
Yeah, he may
think.
play first base, too, they said, once in a while. So, I don't know. Without Jeter, I can't get excited about the franchise.
It's weird. It's strange without Jeter, but
is.
it's time to move on. And Gregorius
Yeah.
was the kid's name.
Yeah, DeGregorius.
So we'll see what he's like at shortstop. And Jeter has not been very productive the past few years on defense or
Sure.
offense. So, and you look at their lineup, you got Chase Headley, you got Stephen Drew at second base, Texiera, Bryce McCann, A-Rod,
Yeah.
Gardner, Jacoby Ellsbury, Carlos Beltran.
Yep.
I mean, that's basically your starting lineup, and that doesn't sound too bad. But, you get down there into the pitching.
CeCe scares me. I don't know if he's coming back. I don't know.
Yeah.
With his injuries and his problems.
Tanaka, can he do what he
Yeah.
did last year? Or, it's always tough to repeat that type of thing. And then they got Pineda.
Yeah.
And,
I like Pineda if he stays healthy.
yeah, it's just not a dominant
Right.
Yankee rotation like the days when, you had
Yep.
Andy Pettit and company in
Oh,
there.
yeah. It's going to be interesting. And I'm not a Mets fan. You all know that. They've spent not a lot. They spent some money. They got a great pitching staff led by Matt Harvey. Of course, I'm always reluctant to say that Matt Harvey is going to be everything everyone expects him to be. He's an outstanding pitcher, Jimmy. The reason I say that is he had that Tommy John surgery.
Yeah.
Once you had that Tommy John surgery, it could slap you in the face any day, any pitch. So that's what worries me about Matt Harvey.
They usually bounce back okay from that. Time pitchers usually do, but
Yeah.
they're the Mets. I don't, Darryl Strawberry and Dwight Gooden aren't coming through that door.
That's right. And by the way, baseball's making a move to keep people in the box, even though they said the batters, when they get in the box, not supposed to get out of it. Last night I watched a few innings.
Yeah,
They were
how'd you
jumping
think
out of
that
the box.
worked?
They
Yeah.
weren't in the box. They jumped out. And I thought the rule is now a pitcher has a certain amount of time, I guess, to get moving. The batter's supposed to stay in the box, not jump out, walk around like Poppy does for the Red Sox there. Ortiz, I don't know. Anything to speed up the game is a betterment for me. Because as I got older, I got more bored with the time. And Jimmy, what I was also going to recommend if I was commissioner is Jimmy would have three tosses to first base to keep somebody on. Not 13, 3. You watch how many times pitchers throw over to first base.
I know that's tough though, because once you do the 3, the guy can just run. There's nothing holding him there.
I mean, and oh, by the way, Manfred, the new commissioner, is going to have a sit down with Pete Rose.
Yeah, good.
A hearing.
Good.
Let's get Pete back into the game. I mean, let's get Pete somewhere in the game.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
He has served more time than somebody killing 14 family members. Literally. If you went to Attica, he would have been out on parole by now.
Yeah.
For shooting his entire family. I mean, come on. Yes,
Pete Rose
he gambled on
belongs
baseball.
in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
He's got more hits than anybody. He's Charlie Hustle.
Shame on Pete Rose for gambling on baseball. Shame on Pete Rose for gambling on his own team when he was the manager. That was the
At least it was to win.
Yeah. But Jim, how many years of punishment is one guy going to take?
Yeah, what was it? It's been like, when was he banned? Like 85?
Oh, God, Jim, I lost track. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it had to be about in the mid-'80s when
30 years.
He was banned from baseball.
30 years.
Yeah.
He's been banished. Come on, I think it's about time. Let him go to the Veterans Committee, because obviously that's the only way he could get on the Hall of Fame, or in the Hall of Fame.
Well, I don't know, because he's never been on the ballot. So
yeah, I don't know how that would work. Somebody said if the Veterans Committee would have to deal with him.
Can you imagine if they shunned him? Because he's not a likable guy. That's the problem.
Yeah.
People don't like the guy. He's
I know.
kind of a jerk.
Yeah, he is. But he was a hell of a baseball player.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look at a lot of the guys in the Hall of Fame. Probably most of them aren't likable.
My point is, if you're going to punish somebody, punish him, send him away for 25 to 30 years. He's done that. He's been banished.
Put him in the Hall.
Let's go. This guy deserves it because in my mind, yes, he did something very bad. He gambled on baseball, and he did something doubly bad, betting on his own team when he was the manager. That's what got him in deep trouble. He would have been okay by just gambling on baseball. But his problem was when he was making out the lineup cards, he was calling his bookie.
Yeah.
So, but okay, I'm not laughing at the fact that that's supposed to be laughable. No. But folks, he served his time. 30 years of banishment. Give the guy at least a break. At least put him up for consideration to get in the Hall, because I think he deserves to be in the Hall. I really do.
Yep, I agree.
All right. Hey, folks.
What about your Masters pick? Who you picking?
Oh, right, the Masters. Okay, Jimmy, I'm going to throw one at you. He went back to his long putter because it's still legal. I'm picking Adam Scott.
Yeah, that's not a bad pick. I'm going with Jimmy Walker.
Ooh.
He came in 8th place last year in his first ever Masters. He hits high long irons. He's a great putter, good short game. He's been one of the best players in the tour last season. Flying under the radar maybe because of his he's just not a big personality, I guess. But I like Jimmy Walker. That's who I'm going with.
Well, why don't you make a friendly bet? I see you at Reds having lunch with the boys. Whoever has the highest finish between Jimmy Walker and Adam Scott, the other one buys lunch.
All right, I'm in.
We got a deal, folks. You're a witness.
It's a bet.
It's a bet. I got Adam Scott, and he's going back to the long putter because it's still legal this year. He can't make a 6-footer with that short one.
Yeah,
so
sad. I've been there.
I love his golf game, too, by the way, Scott. Hits high shots.
Yeah, Scott's great.
Great player.
He's worn the green jacket, so Jimmy Walker hasn't won a major.
Well, folks, we are running out of time. We are hopefully had a good time with us this morning, chit-chatting about topics. And again, congratulations goes out to Tyler Beach, young 8-year-old out of Seneca Falls, and to Tim Brown, who I spotlighted this morning on the show. Speaking of spotlighting, if you have an interest in coming on my show, we try to have some fun here, as you can tell. Feel free to email us, email me, or get a hold of Jimmy or anyone here at Finger Lakes One. Let us know your topic. Let us know approximately the date on a Monday morning you'd like to come on the show. We'd like to get a couple people in. We don't really can handle more than 2 or 3. So let us know your topic, and we would love to have you on Weber this week. Again, next week, a big show. We are planning on and hoping to get Judge Dennis Bender up close and personal about his career, and he's had quite a career as the judge here in Seneca County. So hopefully we'll keep you posted on that development as the days go by. So again, happy belated Easter to all of you, and you all have a great week. And yes, the weather's supposed to change starting like late Wednesday, 55 to 61 for like 5 days in a row. Oh, my Lord. Take care, everybody. That's Weber This Week, my way.
great local content like this by becoming a patron of FingerLakes1.com. Visit patreon.com/FL1.
FingerLakes1.com